Isn't talking about politics and viewpoints great?
That's what we're practicing. Let me see.
I'm very tempted to shut down the show right now.
You gotta calm down, sir.
I do. I do. Are we recording? Sweet. Okay, welcome to the Olive Branch. This is the podcast where two siblings from a small southern town in the heart of the Bible Belt, the Rocket City, Huntsville, Alabama, try to bridge the gap between left and right America.
Or at least avoid strangling each other while trying. I'm Audra, your left-wing host, a wife, intentionally childless, liberal, atheist, socialist, communist, and unemployed but a caretaker for our mother.
True. And I'm Eric, your right-wing host, a husband, father, conservative, born-again Christian, a proud engine nerd with multiple engineering degrees. I've spent over 2 decades leading adult Sunday school, life groups, small groups, connecting people to God, teaching from God's holy word.
And I've spent over 2 decades as Dungeon Master, guiding heroes through the mystical realms of Dungeons and Dragons. I have had numerous credit hours at a community college.
Oh, that counts. That's very good. So yeah, between the preacher and the heathen,
The Bible and the battle map.
we've got absolutely no qualifications to be sharing political opinions with the masses.
But we're going to do it anyway.
Let's do this already.
Okay.
All right, what are we talking about today?
We have a little bit of stuff we're going to go over as far as just like recent events and stuff.
Okay.
And then we're actually going to try to go through and reply to comments in our comment section.
What? Do we have fans or do we have trolls?
Yes.
Or a mix?
The answer is yes.
Oh, wow. Let's do it.
All right.
What we'd like to do is just talk about a few things that's happened in recent events. And recently there's been two major things. So Trump kidnapped the evil dictator of Venezuela.
The way I found out about that, I think I was on Threads, which is like 95% Stranger Things notifications in the past month. But then one thing came up and it was someone saying, so countries are allowed to go into other countries and just take the president and the first lady as they feel led. Interesting.
Yeah.
And I knew that was a knock at, does anyone want to kidnap Trump and Melania?
Yeah.
And then I just assumed that happened in the world somewhere, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So that was how I found out about it. I didn't even look into it for most of the week. Just blips of it on my radar.
So what we thought about doing is pulling a bunch of like either reels or something and make comment on, but sometimes that gets so long and exhausting. So we're trying to do a more cursory, more top level hit. I saw several videos. One where it's actual people in Venezuela celebrating, having parades, celebrating not being under the tyranny of this evil dictator, which is a little surprising. I didn't expect that. I expected like, hey, you took our leader. There's like literal parades where people are cheering and people are in tears. Have you seen this?
I've heard about it.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of weird. Hey, you took our leader. We celebrate. What?
If like my troll on Threads was joking at if someone did that to Trump and Melania, there'd be some people throwing parades and celebrating. You'd see those videos.
Wow, that is That's a very interesting point because
No lies detected.
that's true. Yet, from my standpoint, that would be horrible. So, to your point, there's probably pockets, if not large masses, that are very upset about it. But of what I understand, it was a very corrupt system that was there, and so this was very good for him to be yanked out. Another thing is. Actually, I guess what this video shows is the strategy. Sometimes we look at the world and go, hey, we want our president. We want him to be presidential. We want him to be nice. We want him to, just be somebody that's honorable. But he's a world leader, and with world leader, you have wars, you have. There's negotiations, there's peace treaties, there's all kinds of things that go on. There's trade, a lot of commerce, that whole thing with tariffs. And then, a lot of people thought Trump was way off kilter with his implementation of tariffs and jacking those up with all these countries. But of what it's turned out to be, it was a master chess move. Well, this is what this guy says is going on with the whole take over Venezuela and take over control of really most, if not all, of their products, but also but the oil industry. So let's take a look.
Okay. I don't know that tariffs have been proven out to be a master chess move.
Okay.
We can discuss that later.
Yeah, we can talk about that later.
Oil, at least not the way people think.
Oh, go back. You missed it.
Move on Venezuela. In truth, it's not about drugs, not about terror, and not about oil, at least not the way people think. They're missing the point. Venezuela sits on the largest oil reserves on Earth, over 300 billion barrels, worth nearly $17 trillion. But here's the twist. The United States doesn't need that oil. China does. China buys nearly 90% of Venezuela's crude, almost all of Iran's oil, and a massive share of Russia's exports.
Can I tell you something? Conspiracy theory?
Oh, yeah. I love conspiracy theories. Load me up.
So, which I avoid news because it makes me sad.
It's a sad world out there, and you're smart for doing that.
So, to my knowledge, Saudi Arabia gave like $1 billion jet to Trump or something like that.
Okay, I'm unaware of that, but that sounds like a nice gift.
It's called like bribery, and you're not,
Hey,
you're not supposed to take
why,
bribes.
why are you judging Saudi Arabia for their generosity? Why don't you just say thank you? They're not. They're being nice.
Well, some would say, oh, and also I think it's Saudi Arabia and Trump's son-in-law.
Okay.
What's his name?
He has
Ivanka Trump's
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Jared Kushner.
Okay.
I barely got it out of my head.
Okay.
He's actually like on the board with certain companies in Saudi Arabia, and they are buying media properties in the United States. One of them is EA Games, which I play The Sims.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
I do EA Games. Challenge everything. I don't do sports. You know I don't do the sports ball.
I'm really impressed with that impersonation I just
You
did.
did pretty
It was
good.
pretty spot on.
Solid.
I have not even practiced that.
But so Jared Kushner bought EA Games, and I think they're trying to buy I think they're part of the issues with Paramount, Netflix, wanting to buy Warner Brothers and stuff right now.
Okay.
They're trying to keep it from the Ellisons or give it to the Ellisons. I don't remember what, but they're buying media companies so they have influence and personal data on more Americans. And with the affiliations with Saudi Arabia and oil, us picking on Venezuela out of nowhere and then taking over, doing a regime change, and then claiming the oil would take a lot of the competition away from Saudi Arabia, and either we keep it or they keep it. So it sounds like the bribe of the jet worked. Because we just kidnapped.
Who knows? Or maybe it was negotiated and that was a requirement. I mean, who knows? I don't know how they play at that level.
Yeah.
But to think humans aren't the players is a fallacy. We're all humans.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's probably very interesting.
But that's things that I've picked up on that have been alluded to on the internet.
Yeah, cool.
Understood something most leaders ignore. Power doesn't come from owning energy. It comes from controlling who gets it. Destabilize Venezuela, pressure Iran at the same time. China suddenly loses 70% of its non-US regulated oil supply. No fuel for a Taiwan war. No energy for AI dominance. No BRICS currency replacing the dollar. No shots fired. No war declared. Just leverage. As Marco Rubio put it, we don't need Venezuelan oil, but we will not allow this hemisphere's energy to be controlled by America's adversaries. This isn't chaos. This isn't luck. This is Trump playing the long game, outthinking rivals, reshaping alliances and winning without asking permission. That's not recklessness. That's strategy.
Okay.
Yeah, so very interesting. You know, a lot of people, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. It seems weird in this day and age it almost seems rude or inappropriate to, attack another country. I mean, just in recent years, Russia has been trying to take over Ukraine, and it seems wrong. It seems rude. It seems inappropriate. But if you look at history, it's been a very common practice. And I don't know that we looked at them. I mean, the only one that I can think of that really looked at as evil is Adolf Hitler. Hey, pause. No, not real pause.
Okay.
Just a pause, just tangent.
Conversation pause.
Yeah, conversation pause. You mentioned conspiracy theories. Have you heard of the conspiracy theory that Adolf Hitler was not the man portrayed to be?
What do you mean?
He was. There's some conspiracy theories that if you go back and use like AI to resurrect his speeches, and of course he's speaking in German, so I don't know what the heck he's saying. But if you translate it into English and then hear how he enunciates, what he emphasizes, what he's talking about, he's actually. It sounds totally different than you would think. It talks about him wanting to get rid of the contamination, the corruption, the evils of the world, to include homosexuality and pedophilia and just a bunch of community contamination. And I don't know, but like we said before, the victors determine what history is and how it's presented and how it's represented. So that's what you think what happened. He's been stamped as an evil dictator, and maybe he was, but the conspiracy theory says otherwise.
Pause for that. He 100% was. Maybe he was, you psychopath.
Well, if he is, no, you're missing my point.
I'm just saying, I will give pushback. There isn't a question about was Hitler an evil dictator.
Well,
but to your point.
Well, hang on a second. You're saying 100%, and
Yes.
I don't think it is 100%, because to say by 100%, that means that means you have proof, and
We do.
You only have the evidence that's been presented to you to really. So really, I think to know, like you only get up to like 99.99%. You don't know because you weren't there. You would really need a time machine to go back and eyewitness it and see it.
Well,
Because the whole point is the victors portray what happened and what transpired. They could cook the books.
that's true to an extent, but
Yeah.
if that can't be the standard of evidence needed to have been there in a time machine.
I'm being very technical on 100% no.
Yeah.
To me, you can.
We still have people alive today that were in the Holocaust.
You can have a very edgy. Well, yeah, but was Hitler the one who did it?
I can see Hitler maybe being a George Bush.
Help me.
George W. Bush was, in his administration,
Yeah.
seen as evil and a crony and corrupt. And I think in hindsight, a lot of people see he's just kind of an easy, simple guy that evil people got their hooks in and made him puppet master.
Yeah.
I don't think he was malicious necessarily, George W. Bush, but I think he was easily fooled by pats on the backs and attaboys from people that he wanted the respect of.
Yeah, the whole response to 9/11 and all that, and then the evidence of mass destruction in Iraq. Yeah, in hindsight, things are a little suspicious.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was just being very technical on a 100% no versus, hey, we've been presented a bunch of evidence from the victors of World War II, and we are presented with what it could be. The victors presented exactly what they wanted us to think and believe that may not actually match history. And because if you weren't there, you weren't there. So it's kind of like I think we mentioned this before, the Count of Monte Cristo. You know, talking about the guy who was trying to help Napoleon. History is determined by the victors. So if one side wins, he's an ally and he's a champion. If the other side wins, he's a traitor, and he'll be executed.
I do think that is less of an option these days because we have video footage of the Holocaust. You know, we have
I'm
personal
not,
accounts, written accounts, and video.
I'm not saying the Holocaust didn't happen. I'm saying it may not have been Adolf Hitler who was pushing that. So this is a complicated.
Yeah.
We're not going to master this conspiracy theory. It's just it's supposed to be just a little stupid conspiracy theory that's entertaining, and then we move on.
I will say, Hitler didn't get the Holocaust going by not appealing to the masses. So he had to put it, these are a minority of people that are causing your problems that we need to eliminate so we can be a good, just, prosperous society.
Yeah.
Which is very similar to what Donald Trump says about immigrants, which is why people refer to him as being Hitler.
Yeah.
We just got to stop the trans. All these trans people who've done so many crimes that we know about, they're the bad guy.
So one, you know, Trump doesn't say that.
Out loud because of the dog whistles. Same dog whistles Hitler used.
What do you mean? Are you saying you think he said that? Like I don't know anything where he said anything about trans like that.
I don't know. I could probably Google it.
Well, don't put words in his mouth.
He has said it about immigrants.
Okay, the only thing he said about immigrants is that there are people who are dangerous, who are prior felons, who are rapists and murderers. Now, I do know the way he says it kind of sounds blanket, like it's all of them, 100% of immigrants. But I don't know. I have a good translator. I know he doesn't speak well, so everybody knows that. But I know I can easily translate it quickly. He's saying there's a portion of that and he believes that. He knows that. If he was questioned on that, like if you said, "Hey, are you saying that 100% of the illegal immigrants are murderers and rapists? Is that what you're saying?" He would say, "No." And then he would say, You're the worst reporter I've ever heard. You're fake news." That's what he would say. But he would deny it because he don't mean that. He doesn't speak very well.
I think he speaks very intentionally. And I think he says that, and then he backs away when you push him on it directly.
Yeah.
But he's intentionally trying to sow discord in how people feel about immigrants and people of color in the United States. And he has a militarized force that's going after them. And a U.S. citizen just got shot trying to protest it. And she's being labeled a terrorist because she was in a vehicle near ICE and took 3 bullets to the face. Yeah,
that is an absolutely horrific situation. To me, it's very horrific. Of the footage I saw of that, it looked like ICE was approaching the vehicle and telling her to stop, and he was right up next to the window, and then she guns it to get away.
She didn't gun it to get away. I saw it. She backed up very slowly. Somebody standing walked a few steps over as she was backing away.
Okay, of what I saw, from memory, I don't know, there was like a barricade in the road or something, and she backed up.
Yeah, she was doing, I think, a 3-point turn or something.
Okay, yeah. And then he walks up while the car is stationary. It's not moving. But I think multiple people approached. And one was at the complete side, and he's like within arm's reach of the window. And I mean, right there on top of her saying, stop, get out the vehicle. And then there were 2 more up front. One like right there in front of the front of the car. And then she did gun it. She went. Are you serious? You saying no?
I think we need to find the video because I think you may have seen edited video.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We can look at that, but we're in the middle of another video right now.
We can talk about whatever.
I guess we have that freedom and flexibility. Feel like we're all over the place though.
Oh, we both have ADHD. He doesn't know it. I'm fully aware.
Why don't we table it? Let's have a little bit of structure. Let's finish this.
What else do you want to say about Venezuela?
The main thing I guess we've already watched it. I'm just doing final commentary on it. The only thing I wanted to say is, How do you say Putin? I feel, I feel like I'm in 8th grade making a bad joke. Is it Putin?
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 What's his first name?
That's probably even harder. Vladimir?
Thank you.
Is he a vampire? Anyway, bottom line, the Russian invasion of Ukraine seems rude. It seems inappropriate. But if you look at history, so I mentioned Adolf, and then we got off crazy on that. But that was looked at bad. But when you think of people like Alexander the Great, when you think of the Roman Empire and how it expanded, does anybody think, oh, they were so evil for doing that?
I think so.
Okay, well, I've never thought of that. I've always thought,
I would say as I grew up, he was always known as like the conqueror and like the greatest force in like
Yeah.
the world at the time.
yeah,
I think now people have a different take on colonizing areas that aren't yours. And I feel like there's two reasons.
that's exactly what I'm getting at.
There's two
It
reasons
is-
to invade
yeah.
another country for power.
Okay.
Either you don't have the resources and it's for survival, or you do have the resources and it's for oppression.
Okay. So that those are two valid potential viewpoints, and that's what I was wanting to address. Is if you study into major stuff like the Roman Empire, it took over everything in biblical times. It was a Roman occupation, over the Jews. We mentioned Alexander the Great. So you've seen the movie 300? I bet you haven't.
I think I saw the sequel to it. I may have seen 300 in theater. I don't remember.
What is it? 301?
I remember in 300, because this is how much I care about war movies. The only memory I have, other than like scenes of the masses of dudes in like the kilts
Yeah.
or whatever, the
Yeah.
loincloths,
Yeah.
he's about to go off and do stuff. And I think the wife says, "I love you." And he's like, "I'm a dude, so I won't say that back. But we all know because of how cool I am. I would obviously love this sexy woman
Yeah.
as my wife. And we'll bang real quick just so the audience knows I do love her." That's the only scene I remember. And it's either from 300 or the sequel.
I don't think there was a sequel, but maybe I'm maybe I'm incorrect on that. But anyway, the whole point of this, without going off too much on a tangent, in 300, you've got King Xerxes. He's like the king of kings. He goes in over kings and tries to dominate them. It's the same thing in Troy, another representative of King Xerxes. But it's more glorious. It's not like evil. And I can see I think that's the way it's taught and the way it's known in that time. It wasn't so much to domineer and to build up an ego of look how powerful I am. It was more to govern the people and provide a strong, robust infrastructure for commerce and civilization, because there are pockets of corruption and just wild mayhem. But if you are a strong leader with a strong army and strong commerce, you want to maximize that for all people. So it really, some of these places that were taken over were adopted into a very strong lifestyle. So it's kind of a blessing. It's just a way to look at it. So I wanted to contrast that with the way it looks like today. And the reason is it seems to be applicable. So if you go and see these parades where they are literally crying in celebration that evil dictator is gone, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. So my natural gut reaction was, this is weird. Modern day Trump, taking out a leader, but I don't know, kind of cool too.
Yeah, we did it 20 years ago. We'll do it again because
20 years ago, what did we do 20 years ago?
George Bush in Iraq.
Oh yeah, with Saddam Hussein.
Was that 20 years ago? I think so.
That sounds. No, I bet that was 30 years ago.
It wasn't 30.
I think it was.
I'm 42, and I think it happened. 9/11 happened my senior year, so I was like 17.
Yeah, so about 30 years.
25. Dang.
Okay, but approximately
Time.
quarter of a
Time
century,
has
30
happened.
years. Yeah.
Time has happened.
So, yeah, I guess it is very similar to that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that was a corrupt power move to give us power over people that couldn't defend themselves from us.
Show me the video of this crazy eye situation. And it's horrific.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts. It's a bad situation.
All right. We're going to watch the video of the ice shooting, and then we can determine what facts are.
Do I talk during this or not?
Whatever you want.
As cops, we're responsible for every single round that leaves our way.
Okay, so you can stop it. So it's like I was saying, she backed up. Guy was within arm's reach. I said that there were two in the front, but it looks like there was just one in the front. The second person was actually right behind him. Mm-hmm. So I don't think he was in danger of that vehicle at all. The guy close to it would probably be scared, if he's touching the car, touching the window or whatever, and she starts to go, he's like, am I going to get my feet run over, with this vehicle taking off? I mean, that's more...
When the vehicle takes off, to my knowledge, which we'll see the full playback, I'm assuming, here in a second, when the vehicle takes off, it's after she's already dead, and her foot's on the accelerator.
Okay.
So she was...
No. Okay, no. You watch it again. Okay. That car was rolling forward. Hit pause. That car was rolling forward for, I don't know, like maybe a full 2 seconds before he shot. So she gunned it to go forward.
Yeah, she's trying to leave the scene.
Yeah. So I thought you just said she was shot and then she went forward or something.
Oh no! Just like when the car picks up speed, it was after the shots.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I guess I wasn't.
She's not fleeing or trying to hit anybody with the car. She's trying to leave.
No. I totally get that. I assume after she got shot, who knows, her foot, whatever it did, and then it gunned away. So that's not the gunning I was talking about. I was talking about going forward and turning right. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely say. I don't feel comfortable. I don't know what was in her mind. If she's turning right, she's trying to flee the scene. I don't think she was necessarily trying to run over that. I don't think she was trying to run over that ICE agent.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. However, I'm not the ICE agent right in front of that vehicle while she's accelerating. That would be very scary to me. And they're trained to defend themselves, and that's what you do.
To my knowledge, she's a woman. 36 years old.
Yeah.
So 5 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Driving in an area where there are militarized people walking around in black masks and black outfits with guns out. Whether she was there to protest or whatever, I'm not sure what the official consensus is.
Can I just interject?
But if she's the villain. Let's say she was there to stir up trouble and protest.
So just to let you know, I've got other reels that I've seen and watched on this. There was an eyewitness. I think they were part of the protest. I'm not really sure, but they said that lady was leading the protest. She was the full. They didn't say full gangsta, but she was very bold, very confrontational. She was leading the protest and kind of alluding that ICE wanted her out of the picture. I don't know if they were trying to allude that this was like they could foresee this happening. I don't know. I mean, that's speculation. You don't really know that, but there was definitely. To me, the point is this: there's they could see a lot of contention, a lot of conflict is building up, and that's what I hate about this. You don't confront ICE like this. You don't protest physically like this. You don't go out there with bullhorns and say, get out of our community. You don't do that. It's just rude and...
what should they do if they think a militarized force is acting like Nazis in the United States?
They should go and change the law. These people are not violating the law.
They are violating laws, which is something we've looked into. And unless the state asks the federal government to step in, And Trump is using the weird caveat of I can say terrorist and I can do whatever I want. And he's getting away with it. And now they're shooting civilians who disagree with the current administration.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why there's Congress.
It's very simple. If you are not a legal immigrant, you are illegal. And if you are, get out of the country. That's the protocol. That's what they're doing, and that's what they're enforcing. Just abide by that. It's simple. It's very simple.
Somebody had mentioned in one of the videos I watched that they're only doing it in blue cities.
I don't know about that. I think the priority that's been advertised is, hey, we're not going after all illegal immigrants. There's millions of them. We don't have the personnel staff to attack all that. So we're prioritizing, and we're prioritizing by known felons, by dangerous criminals, people who have murdered, who have raped, and we have record of it. We're trying to hunt them down and export them. So that's what they're doing, and maybe they're hiding out in blue cities, and maybe there is a trend for that to be where ICE goes, because what happens in blue cities? They like to say this is a safe zone. This is what's it called? Not a safe zone.
Sanctuary city.
Sanctuary city, where hey, we don't mind having illegal aliens. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a very encouraging topic, and just brings happiness to all of us. So, do you got anything more joyful? What else can we talk about?
I'm processing what you said and thinking of how to respond, because this is, like I told you, the conspiracy theory. Trump is naming things as terrorists and killing people preemptively.
Yeah.
Without a trial, without due process.
Yeah.
And now a citizen got shot in the face 3 times. They had her license plate.
Yeah. So here's the deal.
They have drones.
If
They
she-
can follow her and send her the citation.
Right. I hate that. I hate that guy felt like he needed to shoot her. But at the same time, if you have an ICE agent in front of your vehicle and you gun it, what in the world do you think they're going to do? I mean, it's just like,
You're allowed to flee a scene.
it reminds.
It's not a death sentence.
You're allowed to. Yeah.
You're.
Oh, okay. It's like, I feel like you didn't hear me.
She wasn't a murderer. There wasn't a bomb.
I feel like you didn't hear me, so let me repeat it.
Okay.
He was in front of the vehicle. She guns it. Immediately, he feels like his life is in
He was
danger.
beside the vehicle.
Okay, there were 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
There was one directly beside, and there was one in front of the headlight. Right in front. He was on the, I guess if she's facing this way, it's on the left side, but he was in front of that vehicle. She was turning right,
Mm-hmm.
and you do see that, but as soon as she guns it, you don't know left, right, whatever. Just a big vehicle's coming in my direction. And then I don't know if he had his gun out already. I don't know. And it was just an instinct impulse reaction. He felt threatened and he stopped her. To me, I totally expect that. That's why I wouldn't do what they're doing. And I think it's bad anyway. But all this to me goes together. It's like with these drug ships. These ships coming into America. They asked,
Alleged drug chips.
Oh gosh.
Where's the evidence? Any evidence?
There's all kinds of pictures of these speedboats with these massive engines on the back that are faster than most things.
Having a fast boat isn't a crime.
No, it's not. But when you can see all the pictures of all this, we've talked about this.
I know, and
You
I
just
still
don't believe it. So you don't believe
because they haven't been forthcoming with evidence.
they
haven't
don't
let
have
there
to
be-
provide you with all this evidence.
They do if they don't want people questioning what they're doing.
Okay, that's fair enough.
If they don't want protests, they need to be fully transparent and show why what they're doing makes sense.
Okay.
Otherwise, it looks like you have a military force occupying cities.
So true. If there was
If we had three of those boats,
the rub is this: the United States military has intelligence. We have FBI, we have CIA, we have people in the Department of War that are very smart and have means of gathering intel. But there's classified information, there's top secret information, there's information that the public cannot know, because then you would know the schemes and means in which they gather that data. And if the public knew that, that would make that operation, that scheme, go away. They would, our enemy would do an alternative so they could get away with it better. So to me, because I know that, because I think that way, I just trust, and it is, it's having faith in my government. Of what I've seen, it's intuitive. It makes sense. That ain't no dang fishing boat. To your point, it's not illegal to have a fast boat. But why is this fast boat with all it? It looks exactly like they're saying. So I'm assuming the intel matches the description. And to say it's a fishing boat is garbage. You can see what a fishing boat looks like, and you see this speedboat. You see how this structure is, and then all the fishing gear, and this has none of that. It
doesn't matter what kind of boat it is. You don't murder people without due process.
Well, here's the deal. What Trump said about that, and I think is interesting, is we've tried it the other way through this long official process and chasing them down and trying to gather evidence and trying to arrest and it doesn't work. They evade. Those speedboats are hard to chase down. But his statement was, they're fast, but they're not faster than a missile. And that's true. To me, this is an excellent deterrent to keep this from happening. It's excellent. We've tried it the other way. It doesn't work. This works. Next.
I don't know the stats on if it's working. I don't know if we're getting less drugs coming in. I don't know if we're having.
I don't remember
I feel like this could have been a preemptive test the waters on what we can get away with, so we can kidnap the president and vice president and the first lady of Venezuela, so that we can control oil, so us and our Saudi friends have control over China, and then we can manipulate the markets and make China not be able to produce as much for as cheap, and then we get to up our prices so that we make the most money and people go more into poverty and can't fight back with us.
Being fully transparent, I think you're 100% correct. And so let's back to King Xerxes, back to Alexander the Great, back to Napoleon. Is that bad?
Yeah. You're either fighting people for your own survival, or you're doing it for their oppression. We don't need them to survive. We're doing it to oppress them and to...
So at the world level of strategy, I don't know that you and I have any way of commenting on what we really need to survive, especially with our current national debt, with China, with their army. I don't know. I think Trump knows what he's doing. I
fact checked. It's not 7 times the next country. It was more than it is now, but now, as of like 2022, we're 3 times as much money spent on military as China. And then we're 10 times the next person, which is Russia.
How about that?
So we're only 3 times the next country in military spending.
Man, and then remember how much we were spending on healthcare versus the others? It was that or worse.
It's as if some of our systems are rigged to where they're just money-making machines for the people at the top.
Okay. I'm either going to pour a drink or we got to do another topic. What else can we talk about? Let's look at some of the. You had some reviews.
Yeah, we're gonna look at some videos and stuff.
Yeah, something fun. Let's have something fun. Do you got
Well-
anything fun?
No, I don't think so.
This is all depressing.
Everything's depressing, Eric. Told you that when I showed up today. So this is...
You said you were going to do Facebook, TikTok,
Yeah, we'll go,
Instagram.
and we'll just rotate through.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I wanted to say something. We hit pause to try to pull up some comments, and we're back. But I told my sister immediately, hey, sorry. I think in the last segment, we were got a little heated, got a little loud, and I was probably wanting to force my views more than listen and absorb. And that's the challenge. That's the struggle in these topics. But my sister is more important than Adolf Hitler, Saddam Hussein, Venezuelan evil dictators, illegal aliens, all the things. This is my sister. I love you. I care about you. And I need to speak nicer to you. And I will. Love you, sis.
I love you too.
Okay.
No, I think I didn't feel like it got offensive or like I was feeling confronted, because I think me and you just have a rapport where even if we talk fast or direct, we both know the other person isn't trying to punch us in the face.
Yeah.
But I do think
I do feel
we could have listened
overtly
more.
overtly safe with you.
Yeah.
Not that you. Maybe it's just because I'm bigger than you, and
Dear, I'm sitting closer to the camera than he is, so.
yeah, she's. What do you come up to? My sternum. This couch is absorbing me.
Yeah,
But,
you're sitting on a lower part than me.
Anyway, no, I feel very safe with you, and I know you're good. So anyway, I want to speak to you with patience, gentleness, respect. So I'll do better.
A funny idea I had was we should get like a little olive branch, like a sprig from Michael's or whatever, as a decoration, and do like they do in family counseling, where I'm holding the olive branch, so I get to kind of rant about something, and then you have to listen and try to understand me and get me to say my point to you, and not just back and forth without listening. And then every 5 minutes pass it back and forth, where now I have to see to you and listen to your point of view and try to understand it.
That would be kind of cute. I don't know that we need that. I think we are intentionally trying to listen to each other and absorb. The challenge that I think, one, that may be actually healthy for some people.
Yeah.
And you may want to adopt that. That may actually work. Here's the essence of making it work. Most people struggle with not listening during that time. They're sitting here just waiting on the other person's lips to just stop. Like, I'm not even listening to your words. I'm just looking at your lips, waiting on your lips to stop so I'll know to go. All of my thought and brain power is going towards how do I articulate my position? I can't wait to tell them about this position and how bleep, 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 their position, Stop that. Step one is to actually listen and see if you can articulate their position back to them, and make sure you understand them. Then you can try to communicate an alternative viewpoint. So it's hard. One of the reasons I'm doing this podcast isn't even for you. It's for me. I'm doing this selfishly to practice this desire to get better at this, because we all do, and this forces me to do it. So anyway, all right, cool. Well, what kind of comments we got
The one that you said,
that I wanted to address?
that like blipped on your radar recently.
Yeah. So one, I don't plan on responding to social media trolls and get into any type of debate. I have zero intention in doing that. I may be lured one day, but right now I'm not. But on this one, they were talking about this is the Maha video. There's a segment where we're talking about vaccines, and no, the reason I wanted to address this one is this is a segment within the Maha video that we did, Make America Healthy Again, we were talking about vaccines and autism, and one comment was says here, it is okay to trust science. Science is always self-correcting. So one, I'm not going to get into a debate with trolls or whatever and try to argue online, but I will periodically address it here. To me, this is a very contradictory statement. It is okay to trust science. Science is always self-correcting. If it's correcting, that means it was in error. That means it was lacking prior to. If it was lacking prior to or was in error, should you trust it? The answer is, of course not. So, I think during the COVID years, people said, trust the science. That's just it. Or specifically, they said, don't question the science. And to me, that just blows up my mind. That's ridiculous. That's how you do science. Science is all about having a hypothesis and making an empirical test, doing something, presenting it in a manner where you can measure it, test it, repeat it, so you can verify conclusions. That's the whole point. You have to question it. Mm-hmm. And then to self-correct, the deal is to ask questions, to continue asking questions, means you've got to have a measure of doubt. So you have to constantly go, is this may be correct and within these parameters, but something, should we do this? Should we do this to tweak it, to make sure it's more robust, more comprehensive, and more applicable to all the things that we're trying to apply it to? So to me,
You found it funny.
always trust science, trust the methodology of science, but don't trust the results of last year. Always continue trying to refine and make sure it's accurate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, I get what you're saying and agree with it. However, if there's a result of science, they're typically not going to do a result that they're stating as a result unless they've done a lot of tests and ruled a lot of things out. So it's the most accurate information we have with everything we look at now.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be like, oh, I can't trust anything ever, and let me keep my tinfoil hat on, because there's always more things that could come up. Like, you have to trust where we're at now in science as much as you can. But if you have questions, and if enough questions get raised, that's when it'll get fine-tuned more.
Yeah, I guess I'm not. I guess that's where my stumbling block is. I'm very technical on 100%. I'm not all or nothing. When I say question the science, I don't mean 100% believe that it's wrong. Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just don't be 100%. Well, they did this study. They said this was the results, and that's it. I'm 100% in. Mm-hmm. No, be 95% in. Have a 5%. I wonder if they did that right. That on the top level, that looks presentable. Yeah. Looks okay. Have 5% of doubt of, but you know what? I think I'm going to open that study and look at it myself. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, what assumptions did they make? How many trials did they do? How many participants? How long did they do the duration? Mm-hmm. What assumptions did they embed in it? How did they weed it out? One of the things that RFK Jr. did, people say he's not a medical doctor. He doesn't. How can he weigh into medicine or into health? Oh my gosh, I think education is so overrated. It's so overrated. And this is a guy with 2 engineering degrees. I've interviewed people with engineering degrees that I cannot find a garbage can close enough to put them in. Just because you're educated doesn't mean you know how to handle information, you know how to process it, you have good work ethic, you have integrity, that you're a good employee, that you work and play well with others. I guess that's a whole nother rant about another thing. But my point is, how you process information is important. And the deal is, he can do it. He points out a study where they tried to come up with some conclusion, and with all this, like 300 samples or something, and the bottom line is like 294 were not applicable. And then there was like 3 more that had some other nuance. The whole thing sounded robust and awesome, but the whole thing was garbage. So it goes back to what we talked about before about lobbying to Congress and trying to do a sales pitch. Man, we need to relook at some of these studies that push these conclusions, because sometimes it's an agenda to get something on law, like we're talking about vaccines. Because once you got a vaccine and it's on the schedule and it's required for every dang human in the country by a certain age, that is a moneymaker. Do you not think corrupt people have an agenda at all costs to get on that schedule? That may make, hey, let's shake this study a little bit. Let's present it in a little different manner. Hey, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Let's do this a little. Let's cook the books a little bit. You don't think that's an agenda by some people? Yeah, it is.
I can see it being an agenda, but also I'm not sure if anyone makes money off vaccines.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I think the government owns the patent, so they just make it.
No, it's not the government. It's Big Pharma, and they're making billions. It's ridiculous.
But we don't pay anything for vaccines, so they get paid a sum by the government for.
No. All these vaccines that people are going in to get, they're paying for them. You pay for the shot. It's getting paid for. It's probably being charged to insurance, and insurance is probably charging who knows what. So anyway, I wanted to address that comment. We don't have to do another deep dive of MAHA vaccines and whatnot. What else you got?
I'll take you to TikTok.
I'm a born moron. Let me blame fluoride.
Yeah, it's wild. See, I don't know who this is addressed to.
Yeah.
This is utterly ridiculous, and I hope that God forgives you.
Okay.
To my knowledge, all of this clip is Joe Rogan and RFK Jr. And Joe Rogan's like, so they found proof of that? And then RFK Jr. says no. And then I said, I appreciate that he admits it's not scientifically proven or backed yet, but, it's something he's looking into because he's worried about it. And then you said, I think he's honest. So what is God forgiving someone for?
I think, my best interpretation would be he thinks it's a ridiculous accusation that there would be any nefarious agenda or the probability of it being detrimental to the health of people. But I don't know why he thinks God would judge harshly against having that concern. I don't know who his God is. I don't think he has the same God I do. I don't know.
Somebody said we have two healthcare systems, one for people with insurance, best, and one for people with no insurance, worst. I know tons of people with health insurance that still want to stab their eyes out anytime they have to do anything with a doctor. And avoid going because there's so much money out of pocket they have to pay. They're not getting good coverage.
Yeah.
As a caretaker for my mom, I'm her primary point of contact for taking her to doctor's visits and all that. So if she has something bothering her, I get to talk to the primary care, have them refer us to a specialist for it if they can't address it. And then we wait like 3 to 4 months to go see the specialist. By then, my mom has usually forgotten about it, or it's not an issue anymore, or it's not her main issue, and then she doesn't want to do the doctor's appointment anymore. I'm like, dude, it takes 4 months to go in to see this person. Let's keep the appointment. And then usually they're like, yeah, that's not the 3 things I'm good at treating, so I can't help you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but you're the specialist. If you can't do it, can you find someone who can or find out what it is? And they're like, I think we're good. It's wild how trash the whole system is.
So I'll say this, something that I've talked to my wife about. So I'm 51 and we still have kids in the home. What I've told her that I'm contemplating, because healthcare is so expensive. Even if you have insurance, your insurance premiums are expensive, and you can get good insurance deals. But it's still a lot of money. So I told her with everything that I'm doing with my health, I've like totally revamped everything I do with diet and exercise over the last 2 years. That's a totally separate episode. But I feel like I've got my health under control. That I don't need health insurance. Essentially, I could pocket the thousands of dollars I spend a year in premiums, just the monthly payment. Just pocket it, put it in a stash, and if I actually need a crazy medical expense, just pay for it cash. That's something we probably wouldn't pull trigger on until our kids are moved out of the house. And then also, I guess it's something, even if they've moved out, children can still they stay on your insurance until I believe age 26. So that's something to consider. But that's something that I'm seriously looking into.
Insurance is basically a corporate scheme for the lottery, but in reverse. You pay every month a set scheduled fee so that you don't get suddenly sideswiped by cancer, but then you still go bankrupt when you get cancer.
Yeah.
So it's not even doing its job.
Yeah. What is this?
Somebody says we're talking about agreeing on vaccines and autism. If I remember, you go into they just updated the CDC to say there are certain ones that they're double checking now.
So, I mean, so have you read the comment?
I haven't read it out loud. The comment says, so there's proof that shows genetic causation, and he rejects that. But there's no proof vaccines are the cause, and just no. This is cognitive dissonance on grand display. The evidence contradicts his narrative, and the immediate instinct to double down rather than listen.
Okay, so I will say what I think I said verbatim in the show. Let me just flip it. You're the one not listening, because I didn't even say that. One, as far as genetics, I don't think we addressed genetic causation at all.
I said genetics cause it, and you said, well.
Okay. Okay, so I said there's no proof of the cause. So if there's any studies that show, I want to challenge that, because I don't think anybody knows what causes it. There may be a propagation or a probability.
Ask your Gemini or whoever you talk to? Your AI,
oh, the internet's?
Your AI robot that tells you what all the internet's included?
Yeah. All right. I'm going to say, what causes autism? Okay, it says autism does not have a single cause. The scientific consensus is that it results from a combination of genetic and biological factors that affect early brain development, usually before birth. So to me, that is not helpful at all. Like, what does that mean, genetic?
That they can find genetic markers that are
okay,
prevalent
so
in people with the autism spectrum disorder.
So advanced parental age. So does that mean if your parents are older? So
Higher chance, yeah.
So to me, this is the rub of why this doesn't sink in my head. They're not showing causation. They're showing what's
correlation?
They're showing correlation. Like, what is it about the age? See, that old age is not the cause. Now, if they said, hey, when you become older, your ovaries start to morph and then you lose a protein, or that insufficient level of this protein does this, and that's what causes autism. Now, that's an answer. But just saying looks at the parents are usually this age or older. That's correlation. That's not causation.
Well, and I think it's finding that there's a reoccurring circumstance.
Yes.
That they just haven't been able to find the extra step.
Correlation, not causation. I mean, I think we should research this. We should look into this. We should find the trends, figure out what the heck's going on, because finding that pattern and weeding out other samples, that's going to help you study and find the cause. So I think they're on the right track. But to say, okay, let's just keep looking. Pregnancy complications. I mean, what does that mean?
Which, if you probably went to the link or whatever, it'd go into detail of what it's talking about.
Extreme prematurity or low birth weight, maternal infections, certain medications during pregnancy. Okay, so then it goes on to say these do not cause autism by themselves, but may increase risk in genetically susceptible children. Essentially, that's code for correlation, not causation. Brain development. Here's what this is what ChatGPT says.
Go on.
What does not cause autism? Important.
What's the first one, Eric?
It says extensive research has ruled these out. Vaccines. The deal is that it's not true,
Why do you think it's not true?
because on the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, under Health and Human Services,
I've listened to tons of medical professionals
Yeah.
condemn that. And that we are now run by a propaganda state that
Okay.
is changing science.
okay,
Because it has been tested
yeah,
ridiculously.
okay. So we're back to the rub of what.
What do you want to believe versus
No,
what the facts are?
I think we need to. So it's down to, like I said, the example of we have 300 samples that prove this, but then when you look at it, 98% of the study is garbage and not even applicable to the results that they're presenting. I think we got to get down to the bulk, and in this case, we're talking about vaccines. There was probably an ulterior motive to get something on the schedule that had no business being there. So I don't know. I think at this point we need to agree to disagree, and then look at the results, because the CDC, they're not just saying they're not gonna. We disagree with you. They're saying, hey, we want to find out the cause. They are intensely looking for the cause. But back to this guy's comment. There's proof that shows genetic causation. One, I don't. We've already addressed that. To me, it's not causation; it's correlation. So I do reject that. But there's no proof vaccines are the cause. I didn't say they were the cause. That's the whole point of the thing. The clarification is that you can't say the opposite of that. You cannot say that vaccines are not the cause. There have not been sufficient study that rule out vaccines as the cause.
They have done studies just to rule out vaccines and have come back conclusively. There is no higher percentage of autism in people with vaccines versus people without.
We're just having a repeat of the show, and the CDC
You're saying
says
they didn't
no.
do studies, and they did.
They didn't do adequate studies to show and prove that they are or are not the cause. I get wrapped around the axle talking about this.
On there, when it says vaccines have been tested extremely to extensive research has ruled these out,
Yes.
including MMR.
Yes.
So why is ChatGPT? What's it pulling from to where it thinks that's accurate?
Probably what has been on the internets for the last several decades instead of the latest CDC website.
Fact check the latest CDC website. See if people have.
Okay. This seems to contradict the latest CDC website where
Update. Go ahead.
CDC website update where they state vaccines are not ruled out as the cause of autism. What is true?
Here's what's really going on and what's true versus what's political messaging. The long-standing scientific evidence. Decades show no causal link between childhood vaccines and autism. Large, high-quality studies, including research involving millions of children in multiple countries, have repeatedly found no association between vaccines, including MMR, thimerosal-containing vaccines, etc. So it mentions a bunch of different studies, one in 2013, with different countries and stuff being involved, including the World Health Organization. And then what's the CDC web change page? Web page change. In late 2025, the CDC's publicly accessible webpage about vaccines and autism was altered to say that the claim vaccines do not cause autism is not an evidence-based claim because studies have not ruled out the possibility that infant vaccines cause autism. That wording is not a change in scientific evidence. It reflects an agency communication shift that many scientists, public health experts, and autism research organizations have criticized as misleading or inaccurate.
Yeah.
The change was reportedly directed by political leadership in the Department of Health and Human Services, not the CDC career scientists, and has not been backed by new data showing vaccines cause autism. Why was it changed? Revised under political direction. The updated wording cites a legal requirement, Data Quality Act, rather than new scientific evidence.
Hey, we can read this whole thing here. Bottom line is, I think this is pulling from like I said, the last several decades that's been presented to the world. And do we got pushback? Yes, major pushback. He is going against the grain. He's going against a multi-billion-dollar machine. All resources are going against this. From the Maha video, remember, Big Pharma was paying like $10,000 for every YouTuber to do a post throwing stones at the Maha movement. Everybody is going to push back. But I'm telling you, this Joker has looked at this. He has no ulterior motive. Why do you think he is wanting to do this? He really believes there's error in the studies and that lobbyists have pushed this and they've cooked the books and it's not right. And he wants to find, why is he doing this? He has interviewed so many moms that have come to him crying because their child has autism and they have all these hardships trying to raise a special needs child. And they think it's associated to something. And some of them, they do think it's directly linked to vaccines. That's speculation. Get that. But the deal is his heart is to try to find a solution. Mm-hmm. And so let him do the research. Let him prove it. He's not, all he's doing is saying, let's dig in and figure this out. And he's got specific studies that he's looked at that show a conclusion that's jacked up. So that's an example of this may be prevalent in a string of studies that have advertised conclusions that have pushed certain vaccines into our schedule that really aren't warranted. So let him do his homework. Let him get some people on it and attack it and figure it out. But let's go back to this comment here. There's no proof vaccines are the cause. Just no. So correct. I didn't say there was. I said that there is no proof otherwise. Now ChatGPT says otherwise, but like I just said, we think they're cooking the books. So let's look at it.
What would be the benefit of cooking the books?
I just told you.
So you think there could be a chance that vaccines cause autism, but they want vaccines to be a worldwide need anyways?
If you get your vaccine qualified and it's on the schedule and it's required, you just made your company billions of dollars. It's a requirement by law for every citizen to get it by a certain age. You just guaranteed sales. Mm-hmm. And like we talked about, does it have to be legit? Does it have to have no consequences or side effects or even death? Hey, we got a get out of jail free card. you can't sue us. So they are pushing it as hard as they can to get on that schedule. Because if they do, they get bonuses, promotions, everything else, and their leadership, their company loves them. So there's no negative incentive. It's just like cook the books. This aren't the George you're looking for. Don't look at that. That's surely you can see the human desire to get that advantage and get on that schedule.
I can see, and that's something.
It may be hard for you because you would never do that. I know that.
Oh no, I know evil people.
Right.
I run D&D games.
Yeah.
I'm evil sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I get that there is a legitimate fear or concern about corruption and money-making schemes, and we definitely have a system that rewards people who pay to play that can move things in their advantage to have even more advantage. So I get that's a legitimate concern, and I think things should be questioned, but until I have a fact behind it, I don't make those accusations and then blow it off. I wouldn't say all those scientific studies are corrupt.
No, of course not.
I would say I need to look into them and think they are.
Yes.
You're
And that's
kind
all
of-
he's saying.
And that's the thing, I think, because when we talked about it last time, I had even said, if he's just wanting to double check another avenue to see if we double check this, can we correlate the vaccines may cause autism? That's fine. They'll either prove it does or prove it doesn't.
He wants to find the cause of autism, period. And he doesn't want to rule out something that has not been ruled out. That's it. That's good. That's noble. That should be encouraged.
And me being pro science and trusting the science, I'm all for checking something else out.
Okay.
I don't think it's a need necessarily, but if he finds something, cool.
Yeah.
If he does another study and proves it's still not an issue, also cool.
Yeah.
So I think the comment is saying that you don't seem as open to, there's 30,000 studies or however many there is that have checked this over decades from multiple countries. And they all came up with no. And you're like, but conspiracy for evil money people negate that point. Like, can you concede it's very unlikely for that many people to be in on the same conspiracy?
Here's the deal. So of course that sounds reasonable, but can you concede what would be his agenda? Why is he doing this? If he doesn't have any type of evidence that makes him want to chase this rabbit down and investigate these studies that have supposedly ruled out vaccines, if that's not true, what could be his agenda? Why would he go against the grain and fight big pharma like this?
I think there is a pocket of Americans that's very anti-vaccine because of misinformation and tribalism of, oh, this person's trying to make me do this and I'm on the other side. I ain't taking orders from you. And then it's kind of grown from its own situation. I think he may fall into that camp a little bit of he distrusts vaccines for one reason or another, even without broad scientific proof. And I think that may be the reason why he got the position he has, is because the right, for some reason, even though Trump was in office, puts COVID and the vaccine on the left.
Yeah.
And I don't know when vaccines became controversial up until very recently.
Yeah. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a vaccine expert. I do think requiring 72 shots for every human being to live in this modern day and age is cray. It's just cray. I think God designed us with an immune system, and as long as you prevent yourself from absorbing all the toxins of this crazy world while simultaneously absorbing all the nutrition, sunlight, grounding, getting enough sleep, all the things that you can do to maximize your resistance to those attacks. I think in general, you're going to be fine. You don't need 72 shots. Do we need some? Probably. It'd probably be helpful, probably mitigate some concerns or some maybe even epidemics. But 72, it just seems a red flag. Does it seem like a red flag to you, or do you think, no, it's reasonable for us to get 72 injections?
I know some injections you have to get multiple ones before your body gets the immunity. I haven't researched the 72 number and what they are. But
No, I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying subjectively.
Yeah,
your
even
gut.
saying if that is the number and that's required by everybody, for the most part, I assume, and this is an assumption, that they got there for a reason, and there is something it's preventing us from.
Wow,
Whether it's all necessary.
So you're operating just by faith.
I do think many people have done everything right and died of random illnesses or freak accidents. And there are some people like Keith Richards that ride it hard for 90 years and still, for some reason, is kicking around the mansion somewhere. So
True.
God
Yeah.
shows discretion in his rewards and punishments, is all I'm saying.
I concur.
Well, I have a hair appointment, so we gotta go. But that's all we're gonna do for today. We're gonna try to start talking a little bit more in depth and going back and forth on stuff, and just get back to how to argue, but how to argue respectfully and productively, and not just bicker for the sake of hearing our own viewpoint echoed. We want to listen and learn. And I think we're doing that. I think we're trying to find the middle ground of where do I believe, where do you believe, and can I see the grace in between of how to get from one place to the other, or the different sides.
We've got to be able to communicate. We've got to be able to, we got to get so much better at speaking of religion and politics without being so offended, so triggered, so baffled that somebody would have a different viewpoint. We need to understand people are people. We need to stop demonizing people with a different viewpoint, demonizing them to the point that we feel like they're not even human, to the point where some think it's justifiable to take their life. That, to me, is the definition of evil. I think Satan's winning there. So let's resist that. Let's get back to the basics. Let's get to where we can speak truth in love, with patience, with grace, with humility, and try to listen more and understand where people are coming from. They're not evil. They're not incompetent. They're just different. They have different value systems, different experiences. And you know what? I can benefit and learn from their viewpoint. Well, that's a wrap.
So I think we shared our views. We listened and we learned, and we're better for it.
That's right. People are more important than politics, my friends. Let's act like it.
See you next time.